What's going on? Welcome to Tech with Sean. And just like the meme says, I have a Dreamcast. Well, today we're going to take that Dreamcast and install a GDEMU, which is an optical drive emulator that reads the games off of an SD card. Okay, so what we have here is actually like a Chinese GDEMU clone. And I guess the original one was only available via Kickstarter or pre-order or something like that, and they're like $400. So that wasn't really on my radar. But this popped up on my Amazon recommended, and these ran, I want to say 60 to 75 bucks. There were a few makers on there. I grabbed one that said version 5.5. There were some that said version 5.15. I'm not sure what the difference is, but usually newer is better, so I just did that. I've got a SD card with a micro SD in it, 128 gig, and it came with these little standoffs that we'll use to attach it to the motherboard. It's really pretty minimal hardware-wise, so with no further ado, let's tear this thing down and install it. Okay, so now we're getting started here with our Dreamcast system, and we're just going to use a Phillips screwdriver. First thing we're going to need to do is take off the modem part. Oh. And once you take that off, you're just going to have to remove these 4 screws. After that, you can flip it over and the top should come right off. Oh. If you have any legitimate Dreamcast games in there, you might want to take them out first before you do that. Now inside here, there's going to be 3 screws. Here, here, and here, and we're going to remove those, and then this will just be held in place by where it attaches to the board. Alright, now with those screws out, we're just going to yank this thing out of here. Set it aside. And now we have an empty Dreamcast ready for the GDEMU. So as you can see here, this is the main connector for the GDEMU, and it's going to go right into this slot here. And these little holes here, the kit that we ordered came with some standoffs, so I'm just going to go ahead and clip those in. And theoretically, that's all it should need. Just the resistance of the socket will be enough to hold it in place. So now it's basically installed. When you put the GDEMU in, you are taking out the drive tray, and a lot of the power consumption from the PSU went to running the CD drive. There are several mods you can do. You can totally replace this with a lower wattage power supply. You can add some resistors, but for a short-term fix, I'm just going to put in a piece of cardboard that's going to help direct the airflow from the power supply over to the fan, so that this isn't just exhausting air from around the SD card, but it's going to pull it from over by the power supply. Okay, so you can see here I've got a little flappy type thing that I've made with cardboard and electrical tape, and I'm just gonna slap it down in here. So as you can see, it's kind of walled off this front area. Now hopefully it's going to draw hot air off of this and then kind of down this channel and out the fan. We'll see how it works. Okay, y'all, now we got it hooked up and we got the SD card in there, so we'll turn the Dreamcast on. And as long as you have the GDMENU in slot 1, like folder number 1 on the SD card, it's going to boot into that first. Whatever you have in folder 1, it's going to boot up into that, so you want to have the menu in there. In here you can go into the menu and change some basic options. The in-game reset is a big one. By pressing all 4 face buttons and the start button in-game, it's going to kick you back to this menu. You do want to turn it off for multi-disc games, and then when you press that, it's going to switch the disc. This basically will do the same thing for the button inside the system, I believe. But once you're in here, you can just pick whatever game you want and load it up. I just, I found some cheap games down at the pawn shop and ripped some ISOs, So let's just boot this one up. I think it's some kind of shooting game. Capcom. I like the Capcom intros on the Dreamcast. It always looks pretty cool. So yeah, and there you go. Most of the stuff I've tried on here has worked great so far. You do want to try to use the GDI format games, and I believe the TOSEC, T-O-S-E-C, rips work the best with GDEMU, but there's also, if you have any CDI rips or something, they may also work. It all depends. Well, I'm terrible at this. I think there's more to this game than I know about. I haven't really played it much. You can do some kind of charge shots. But I'll show you the soft reset feature. You have to get all the buttons just right. Yeah, I don't know. I guess you just have to mash the buttons right. I don't know. It works. My controller may also be kind of sketchy. Let's try something else though. But as you can see, the games run really well on here. The load times are nice and fast coming on the SD card. Alright, well we're back. Apparently I filled up my memory card when I was playing Power Stone, so now we're back playing some Street Fighter. And I did run into one game that was Garo Mark of the Wolves, and I had a CDI rip of it, and this didn't want to play that. So if you want the best compatibility, your best bet is going to be to use the TOSEC GDI rips. But altogether, I'm pretty impressed with how this is running. Boom. Alright, well thanks for watching along as we installed and checked out the GDEMU clone. I think it's a pretty nice product for the price. I'll put some affiliate links down in the description below. If you want to use those, it does help out the channel. And yeah, give us a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.